Hey, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Team Ardolino at Realty Connect USA on being our sponsor for this segment. Yeah, Michael has been listing and selling homes for 30 years. So a big shout out to you, Michael Ardolino. Thank you. Hey, hi, happy Friday, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Art Ventures at Home. I am Mrs. Grass with your daily dose of art. I'm so glad you've tuned in today and all week. Thank you so much. I want to give a little shout out to some of our followers out there, the Monticello family. Oh, and Olivia watching with one eye open this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gail and Margaret, always a pleasure to see you watching our videos, and Janice too. You guys are wonderful. Oh, and to our new friends in Texas who are watching, hi! Hi from Long Island. Can't wait for you to visit us one day. All right, so on the docket for today's lesson is a little project inspired by one of my favorite artists, Miss Georgia O'Keeffe. Let's get started. All right, first things first. Who's Georgia O'Keeffe? Do you know her? Have you seen her artwork? Have you seen her artwork in a museum? Have you made artwork inspired by her? You gotta let me know. Share it, I wanna know. Georgia O'Keeffe is an American artist. And she was born right here in the United States in Wisconsin in 1887. And she lived a really long and fruitful life. And most of her life was spent making art. She loved it. She spent a lot of time in Manhattan and in New Mexico. And in New Mexico, she painted so many wonderful paintings of the things that she saw in the landscape and the things that she found out in nature. She collected bones, but her most famous paintings and most famous works of art are of her flowers. She said she painted flowers big, really, really big. And I mean really, really big, because she wanted people to see the flowers the way she saw the flowers. Today, we're going to paint a flower in the style of Georgia O'Keeffe. We're going to look real closely at it, and we're going to paint it really, really big on a piece of paper. And I know that you are really going to make Georgia proud. So let's get started. Okay, here are the items you should be sure to have before you start your Georgia O'Keeffe inspired painting. You need paper. You need a paper that's a heavier stock or a little bit thicker, so that when you paint with your watercolors, your paper doesn't warp or that you don't tear a hole in it. And of course you need some watercolors. If you don't have watercolors today, you can use acrylic or craft paints too. You can even water them down a little. And if you don't have any of those, you could think about using food coloring with a little bit of water in it. That's the same thing, okay? I also have some oil pastels out that I'm going to use for outlining my flower. If you don't have oil pastels, crayons will work just as well. I have a pencil here so that I could draw out my flower before I get started, water, and a few different size brushes, along with some inspiration. So I have some flowers here that I got from my garden. These are the early bloomers of the spring, you know, the bud flowers. They are tulips and daffodils and things like that. And if you don't have any flowers to look at, you can find a silk flower you might have in the house, or you could even find a reference image or a picture from the internet, which is totally fine too. It's just nice to have something in front of you to look at while you're sketching. I love all of these flowers. They're beautiful. I'm It's hard to choose, but I really enjoy the colors in this one the most, so I'm going to use this as my reference for drawing my flower out. Okay, so once you have those supplies you need, you are ready to start making some art. All right, so I'm gonna get set up to start sketching out this flower. I've chosen a square piece of paper. It's sort of largish. I chose a square because I thought a circle would fit nicely in here, and my flower sort of is a circle shape made of petals. So I'm going to really look carefully at my flower. Make sure that I understand exactly what it looks like. Oh, look, if I look really deep in there, it's got a center. Look at that. Pretty cool. This is a felt flower. It's a fake one. So I'm going to look really closely at it and look at where the petals land. And I'm going to start sketching out my flower. The next step for me is to outline my petals with some oil pastel, or if I don't have that, some crayons. So I'm picking colors that I see inside the flower. I see some greens and some blues. So I'm going to go right over my pencil lines with that. And I also have some yellow here because that is the color that I found right in the center of my flower. So I'm going to use that as well. I have my oil pastel down, and if you remember from some of our previous lessons, one of the cool things about using an oil pastel with a watercolor is that the watercolor and the oil pastel won't mix. So these beautiful lines created from the flower that I've drawn are going to stay in place because the watercolors are not going to paint over them or cover them in any way. So I'm going to start painting. This is the fun part. You know, I was going to say that while I was copying this, like, use your artistic license. If you don't like the particular colors of a flower you're looking at, it's your artwork. You can paint it however you'd like. So you can turn a pink flower into a blue flower if that's what you'd like. It's up to you. You're the artist. Today, I'm following along with the colors that I see on my reference flower because I really do very much enjoy it. So I'm gonna stick to that. But let me have some fun painting and see how it turns out. Today painting in the style of Georgia O'Keeffe. I hope that you take some time today to really look at the flowers or plants that you've decided to draw and paint today. The more you look at something, the better you understand it and the better you can draw it. So, from my studio to yours, thank you for tuning in. For those of you watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so that you can keep up to date with all our most recent content. And if you are making and you want to share what you're making, you got to do it. Tag us at Gallery North LI on Instagram, hashtag Art Ventures at Home, hashtag Art Ventures, hashtag the studio. On Facebook, we're Gallery North, and if you want to share right in this thread, go for it. We want to see what you're making. Thanks so much. And if you're feeling really good about giving today, why not give back to yourself as well and become a member of Gallery North? Yeah, we just launched a really awesome new membership program. You could find it on our website, gallerynorth.org. And if you become a member, you could take advantage of the many things that we offer our members, discounts, and come see us when we reopen. Take a class, wander our grounds, see our gallery, and visit our gallery shop. We can't wait to see you there. Until next week, for another episode of Art Ventures at Home, I'm Mrs. Grass. And remember, if you create, you're going to feel really great. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.